In this video, we're going to take a look at what Node is. Node came about when the original developers took JavaScript, something you could usually only run inside of the browser, and they let it run on your machine as a standalone process. This meant we could create applications using JavaScript outside of the context of the browser. Now, JavaScript previously had a limited feature set. When I used it in the browser, I could do things like update the URL and remove the Node logo, adding click events, or anything else, but I couldn't really do much more. With Node, we now have a feature set that looks much more similar to other languages like Java, Python, or PHP. We can write Node applications using the JavaScript syntax that manipulate your file system, creating and removing folders. They can query databases directly, and you can even create web servers using Node, all of which we'll be doing inside of this course. These were things that were not possible in the past, and they are because of Node. Now, both Node and the JavaScript that gets executed inside of your browser, they're both running on the exact same engine. It's called the V8 JavaScript Runtime Engine. It's an open source engine that takes JavaScript code and compiles it into much faster machine code. And that's a big part of what makes Node.js so blazing fast. Machine code is low-level code that your computer can run directly without needing to interpret it. Your machine only knows how to run certain types of code. For example, your machine can't run JavaScript code or PHP code without first converting it into something it does know. Because the V8 engine does this so well, Node is just super quick. Using this V8 engine, we can take our JavaScript code, compile it to much quicker machine code, and execute that. This is where all those new features come in. The V8 engine, it's written in a language called C++. So if you want to extend the Node language, you don't write Node code, you write C++ code that builds off of what V8 already has in place. Now, we're not going to be writing any C++ code in this course. This course is not about adding on to Node, it is about using Node. So we are only going to be writing JavaScript code. Speaking of JavaScript code, let's go ahead and start writing some over inside of the terminal. Now, throughout the course, we're going to be creating files and executing those files, but we can actually create a brand new Node process by running the node command. Here, you see I have a little right caret. This is waiting for JavaScript node code, not a new command prompt command. That means I can run something like console.log, which, as you probably know, logs a message to the screen. Log is a function, so I'm going to call it as such, opening and closing my parentheses, and passing in a string inside of two single quotes, a message like hello world. This is going to print hello world to the screen. If I click enter, hello world prints just like you'd expect. Now, what actually happened behind the scenes? Well, this is what Node does. It takes your JavaScript code, it compiles it into machine code and executes it. Here, you can see it executed our code, printing out hello world. Now, this V8 engine is running behind the scenes when we execute this command, and it's also running over inside of the Chrome browser. If I open up the developer tools in Chrome by going to Settings, More Tools, Developer Tools, I can ignore most of the things. I'm just looking for the console, which is a tab right here. This console is exactly like what we have over here. It's a place where we can run some JavaScript code. I can type the exact same command, console.log, hello world, inside of single quotes, run it, and right here you can see hello world prints to the screen, which is the exact same result we got when we ran it up above. In both cases, we're running it through the V8 engine, and in both cases, the output is the same. Now, we already know that the two are different. Node has features like file system manipulation, and the browser has features like manipulating what's shown inside of the window. Let's take a quick moment to explore their differences. Inside of the browser, you've probably used Window if you've done any JavaScript development. Window is the global object. It stores basically everything you have access to. Here you can see things like array. Down below, we have all sorts of CSS manipulation. We have Google Analytics keywords. Essentially, every variable you create lives inside of Window. We have something similar inside of Node. It's not called Window because there is no browser window. It is called Global. Global stores a lot of the same things. Here you can see methods that might be familiar like set timeout and set interval. Up above, we have most of the things that are defined over inside of Windows, with some exceptions. Now, inside of the Chrome browser, I also have access to something called Document. Document stores a reference to the DOM up above. The document shows exactly what I have up here inside of the browser's viewport. I can make changes to the document down below to update what gets shown up above. Now, obviously, we don't have this HTML document inside of Node, but we do have something similar. What we have is called process. You can view it by running process from Node, and here we have a lot of information about the specific Node process that's being executed. There's also methods available here to shut down the current Node process. What I'd like you to do is go ahead and run process.exit, passing in as an argument the number 0 to say that things exited without error. When I run this command, you can see I'm now back at the command prompt. I've left Node, and I'm at a place where I could run any regular command prompt command, like checking my Node version. I can always get back into Node by running Node, and I can leave it without using process.exit by using Control-C twice. Now, I'm back at my regular command prompt. So these are the notable differences. Obviously, inside of the browser, you have this viewable area. Window gets changed to global, and document basically becomes process. Now, obviously, that's a generalization, but those are some of the big picture changes. We'll be exploring all the minutiae throughout the course. Now, when someone on the street asks you what is Node, you can say, oh, Node's a JavaScript runtime that uses the V8 engine. And when they ask you what the V8 engine is, you can say the V8 engine is an open source JavaScript engine written in C++ that takes JavaScript code and compiles it to machine code. It's used inside of Node.js, and it's used in the Chrome browser. That's it for this one. We've explored the what of Node. In the next video, we're going to explore why Nodes become so popular, its advantages, its disadvantages, and a heck of a lot more. So stay tuned. I will see you then.